If you raise your hand, if you need a form, comments on agenda items. Comments on agenda items. Anyone? We just have one. None up there? All right. And this here comment will come at the end of the agenda for public comments. We have one. See, no. Minutes of the prior meeting, beginning with item A under 5, the minutes of May 19, 2020.
Mr. President, we didn't approve the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor of the, I need a motion and a second.
So
Motion and a second. Thank you. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All
Mr.
opposed.
President, Mr. President, I would like to amend the agenda.
You want to amend the agenda? Counselor, where we are with that?
Unanimous, roll call.
It sounded like there was a vote to approve the agenda, but it can be amended, but it's got to be a unanimous vote.
Yeah,
We just voted to approve it, so now you want to amend it?
yes, but I didn't get it, yes, you did it so quick, so.
Okay. You good?
And so I want to amend the agenda.
Okay. You make the, you should need a
I would
motion.
like to, I wanted to,
Yes.
Motion and a second.
She needs to say what she wants to amend.
Yeah, what you want to amend?
I wanted to amend the agenda, so we could, insert to go into executive, session right before we do the appointment of the parish administrator.
Got a motion?
Yes.
Second. A motion and a second that we amend the agenda to insert, which would be item 6.
No. Yep,
It'll be item 6.
yep.
And all the rest of the number items will move down accordingly. Item 6, to amend the agenda, that we go into executive session. We have a motion and a second. Ms. Howard, roll call.
Yes, roll call on that motion in second.
What's
Yes,
the
we got-
reason, what's the reason, I'm asking.
I said that we needed to go into executive, session before we do the appointment of the parish administrator to discuss.
You have to state the reason for your executive session.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Is that correct, Lewis?
The only thing you can do as far as executive session is just to discuss the competence and qualifications of the position.
There we go.
But yes, that's the purpose. That should be the only purpose.
Is that your motion? Motion and a second. Roll call, Mr. Hall.
Roll call, and it's gotta be unanimous, correct?
It just has to be.
Okay, White,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Franks,
No. Keep going.
You gotta keep going.
Yeah, go ahead and get everybody vote.
right, Cranford,
Yes.
Hunt,
No.
Scriber,
Yes.
Pullen,
No.
Russell,
Yes.
Henderson,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Mayfield,
Yes.
Strotter.
Yes.
Okay, would be 9 yeas and 3 nays.
And it had to be unanimous?
Yes.
All right.
Motion failed.
The motion failed. Item 5, minutes of prior meeting. Item A, May 19, 2020. Need a motion and a second to approve those minutes. A motion and a second that we approve the minutes of May 19th, 2020. All in favor, any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Item B on the 5, June 1st, 2020, minutes of prior meeting.
Oh, do you have a motion?
Motion by Ms. Hunter,
Second.
second by Mr. Russell, that we'll approve the June 1st, 2020 minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Item 5C, June 2nd, 2020 minutes of prior meeting.
I move that we approve those minutes.
Second.
A motion is second to approve the minutes of the June 2nd meeting. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Counselor, will you give us some direction on item 6?
Well, as you all know, we had police jury meetings last Monday and Tuesday, June 1st and 2nd. On the agenda was to interview candidates for the position of parish administrator. 4 interviews were held Monday, 4 were held Tuesday. This was not a committee meeting. This was the entire police jury, as you all know. And on Tuesday's agenda for June 2nd, there was an item to make a recommendation to the jury for the appointment of a parish administrator. There was a motion and second, and it unanimously passed to recommend Tracy Calloway for that position. Today's agenda item is to actually appoint a parish administrator. And I will say, I have been asked, do you have to go with the recommendation? No, it was a recommendation. Now, it was a unanimous recommendation of this entire body, but tonight there will be an appointment. You can take no action, you can table this, but if there's action to be taken, it would be just like any other agenda item. Somebody needs to make a motion that somebody be appointed. If there's no second, the motion dies. If there is a second, there will be discussion and a vote. Now, it's not, I nominate this person, I nominate this person, I nominate this person, and let's see who gets the most votes. No, there's a motion. If there's a second, there's a vote. If a majority votes in favor of the motion, that is the parish administrator. If a majority does not vote for whoever the motion was in favor of, then there would need to be another motion for somebody else.
But it cannot be two. It cannot be two at the same time.
No, sir, somebody needs to make a motion to appoint one individual as administrator, and then you need to see if there's a second.
Mr. President, I motion that we will appoint Tracy Calloway for the parish administrator.
Second motion.
Now, do we take the vote, Mr.
Yes, sir, you can get discussion, see if there's any discussion, and then at the end of the discussion, or if there's no discussion, take a vote.
Motion is second, now we're in discussion.
Did we ask for discussion?
Maybe.
We've had discussion.
No, that's what we are now.
Oh. And then,
We're in the discussion stage.
okay. James Clear said, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your system." Jurors, our system is about to become broken. We are acting in an immature, dishonest, and unfair way. We do not know how to separate church and state, friends from church members. We want to have it our way and have not learned selecting an administrator is the simplest job we will have. Some think it's the hardest. The hardest job is imposing taxes, services, dumpsters, roads, and bridges, and will be here forever. Our problems are chronic. I have not heard anyone challenge a solution for any of our chronic problems. An administrator is here today and gone tomorrow. I sit around the table at Jefferson Corners with old jurors who think differently than I do. When I decided to join them, I knew their political party, their church, and their neighborhood were different than my own. So I made them agree that we would not discuss national politics around the table. But the old jurors were the ones who taught me that we discuss taxes, roads, and bridges around the table for the Lincoln Parish Police Jury. That way we stay on one accord, because everyone pays tax, travel on roads, and cross bridges. We are the governing body of the parish, and look at the example we have set. We use what some say is a flawed system to elect an administrator. The same ones use the same system for another employee we hired, and they sat and said nothing about the instrument being flawed. If the system is flawed for the person they have chosen, It is also flawed for the other 6 candidates. The system used to get us around the table is flawed, or we might not be here. The minutes state that we went into executive session to discuss the professional competency of the applicants for parish administrator. We all voted to do just that. We came out of executive session where we had discussed professional competencies, and you had no right. You all voted to nominate someone for parish administrator. Your gripe is that the candidate not selected has more experience than the one we choose. Guess what? I have more experience than you in selecting an administrator. Is it because I am a woman that my voice is not heard? Or is it something else? We went into executive session and we came out stating that we were 100% behind a candidate who had more votes than the other 7. The poll vote gave that candidate 7 to 5 votes twice.
Mr. President, I hate to interrupt, but no one needs to state anything that happened in executive session.
Okay, scratch that.
Thank you.
If you were not for that candidate, you should have allowed someone, you should not have allowed someone to force you into that commitment to the public. Stand up, be a man, be a woman. All documents were picked up before we left the room. We could not go back and revisit the applicants. What changed? Did the person we select rape somebody? Molest somebody? What happened? Personally, I think that person's ethics are stronger than ours. I don't believe that person would have encouraged his supporters to do what is being done. Some of you said the votes were stacked in favor of a person. You went so far as to pick up the votes and try and figure out who stacked the votes. I did. My votes stacked. You know why? Let me repeat. I did. Now you want to punish someone for what you say is my mistake? Punish me. Ask my district to vote me out. Punish me, not the person in question. I strongly believe that my degrees and my years of experience as a school administrator and a police juror puts me in a better position to know better than many of you sitting around the table who would make the better person for the job. And one of the things that impressed me about that applicant was his references. Many applicants had character references. The applicant we chose had references that were familiar with what an administrator does. Going to school with somebody, going to church with somebody, may tell you what you know about the person's character when that person is in your presence. But what do you know about the job you are speaking on that person's behalf? The community knows what is going on. Not one person from the recommended nominee camp called me before or after the vote. I had calls from people after we had voted, encouraging me to change my vote. I get in enough trouble on my own. I do not need encouragement from others. I am their public servant, not their friend. Call your friends, jurors, and ask them not to encourage your public servants to do wrong. It is wrong to lead the candidate and public into believing one way and vote another way. No one should be embarrassed because we did not come up with a system that is fair. If the system is not good, let's change it when it is not designed to help a friend. I'm old. I probably will not live to do another term. Some of you are young. Some of you are old and too scared to fight. Not strong enough in your faith to believe what God says. Not wise enough to know you will reap what you sow. You have set high goals. But remember, you do not rise to the level of your goals, but I promise that you will fall to the level of what can become a dishonest system. Let's not be dishonest.
Ms. Hunter. Discussion, if any? You have any comments?
No, I haven't comments.
Mr. Franks? Mr. Cranford? None? Mr. Squire?
No.
None. Mr. Pulley?
I'm just gonna say, Ms. Teresa, I appreciate you doing that. Very well done. I'm gonna say that I wanna apologize for agreeing to a recommendation based on showing unity versus based on doing what I believe is correct and what is right. That's my apology right now for this. As far as our system for supposedly picking any applicant is so flawed that it was evident in the scores that it was stacked.
Mr. President, Mr. Pullen, again, I hate to interrupt. We're discussing things that were specifically discussed in the executive session.
Okay.
But
This was not discussed in the public meeting.
are our score sheets public? We fill them out in the public record?
No.
They're,
We did it.
No.
No. Everyone?
okay, so that's why I cannot, and I won't, and I won't go into the appointment of our recommendation from Tuesday night. Can't do it. And so that's, I have nothing against the one we recommended. I think he is very capable of doing his current job. But I think there was better candidates as a leader of our parish who needs, and this has nothing to do with buddies or friends or anything. I have hired and selected hundreds of people for positions, hundreds. This is strictly based on what I see as an experience level, a personality, a trait that I was looking for as an administrator, the strong trait of being as people call it, a PR person. And I think we need that for our parish to make it improved. And I cannot go with the appointment of administrator as it is recommended right now.
Mr. Russell?
I'm going to try to make this brief. Going into this vote, my intention was to vote for the person who had the most points. Now, to be very honest with you, Tracy and I are friends. We've been friends since he was a child. He's my favorite in all the ones that are nominated. I did not vote for him because he is my favorite. And as he got ready to announce that he wanted to run, he visited with me and I encouraged him. I think he's done an outstanding job. But I voted for him not because he's my friend, but because he had the most votes. There was such a turmoil over this election that I decided to look into the situation. And without disclosing information that was within the meeting, it was my determination that there were irregularities in the voting.
Again, we're back to
Is that
council.
illegal to say? I didn't just...
There was no voting in the executive session.
No,
That's
no
not
voting.
allowed.
No, that's right. That's right. After that, the voting, to my way of thinking, everybody voted as they wanted to vote. That's great. I'm not throwing rocks at how you voted. But from my perspective, the voting was not fair. From my point of view, I went back and reevaluated those votes that I determined were fair and just and followed the guidelines that we were given. And in doing that, in calculating who got the most votes, it was my determination that Doug Postel got the most votes. And therefore, I'm not voting for him because he's my friend. I'm going to vote for him because I believe he got the most votes after further evaluation.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson.
I have no comment.
Sir,
No comment.
Ms. Mayfield.
We are talking about the voting. And I asked in the beginning to the president to for us to do the executive session before we even started interviewing, to at least let each one of the jurors know exactly what we were doing, how we were going to tally, and that the numbers would be the way we would do it. Well, that didn't happen, and he apologized for not doing it. But when we left out of the meeting that night, we said that we were going with Tracy 100%. We said it. We went around the whole table, all of the tables, and we said, yay. For us to come here tonight and say that we are doing something different, it's totally wrong. Because we said we had an opportunity Tuesday night to say yay or nay, and we didn't do it. And I just feel like that we are doing something that just really not up to home.
Ms. Khan.
I would like to apologize, as a few others did, for wrongly prioritizing unity and unanimous decisions over personally what I felt convicted to do on Tuesday night. So I think I wrongly prioritized that, and that will be the last time I think that I wrongly prioritized.
Mr. President.
Mr. Russell. I'm sorry, Mr. Conley, you
Finished, yes, sir.
Mr. Russell.
After the meeting that we had, we came out and we voted. In evaluating those votes, there were what I consider to be irregularities in the voting, and therefore the total count.
So how were you supposed to know?
Ms. Bayfield, look, we're gonna do everyone gonna speak one at a time so we can be heard.
And when I went back and evaluated those who followed the guidelines and counted the votes that way, there was a change. And that's the reason I'm going to vote for the one that got the most votes, given those circumstances. I'm not voting for a person I like or dislike. I think both of these young men are just outstanding and do a good job. But going in, I said I'm going to vote for the one that gets the most votes. I think that's what I'm doing. I believe it. I'm not telling you how to vote. However you decide, that's great. If I'm the only one that votes this way, that's okay. But I'm voting for the one I consider to have the most votes.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Mr. Nelson?
that was a verbal vote around the table. And that verbal vote was 7-5.
Your Honor, Mr. President, we cannot discuss what was done in the executive session. We can't.
Well, we did vote in the executive session.
He's talking about what happened in executive session, and we cannot do that.
Okay.
That's it. Ms. White, that's your everyone?
I'm just having trouble with two things. Number one, I thought the ballot was secret. Why didn't somebody tell me? I didn't know if people could go back and examine your ballot.
Ms. White, let's get back to this. Council,
Yes, he said you went back and examined the ballot.
I understand. I understand.
I don't.
I understand. But we don't want to go through all that. Council, what's our next step now?
Vote.
Everyone?
There was a motion and a second that Tracy Calloway be appointed as administrator. Once the discussion's over, it's time to vote.
Okay. We're in this, and we have any more discussion? Anyone, please? The motion on the table, a second, that we'll appoint Tracy Calloway, the Lincoln Parish Administrator. Mr. Hall?
Can we roll call this?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You ready?
Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
So there's no misunderstanding. Would you repeat the motion?
The motion is that we appoint Tracy Calloway as Parish Administrator.
Yes.
And that was a second. We've had the discussion, now we're about to vote.
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Franks,
No.
Cranford,
No.
Hunt,
No.
Scriver,
No.
Pullen,
No.
Russell,
No.
Henderson,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Mayfield,
Yes.
Stroughter.
Yes.
So you have 6 and 6.
Mr. President, I make a motion.
Counselor, there's a tie vote.
Motion did not carry.
Next step.
Hurry up.
Hold on.
You need another, either vote to table this agenda item, or somebody needs to either move that it be tabled, or move that somebody else be appointed.
Everyone,
Mayor?
we're gonna talk one at a time. We're taking the advice of council. We've just voted 6-6. His advice, either table or another name, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
But hold on, before we start talking. We're gonna keep it in order. I saw one hand first. Mr. Pulley.
Mr. President, I'd like to make the motion to recommend Mr. Doug Postel as the parish administrator. Appoint. Sorry, appoint.
That's your motion.
That's my motion.
I'll second that, Mr. President.
Do we take the vote, council?
Discussion.
Discussion. Ms. White first.
Are we going to go into executive session and discuss the competency of this person like we did before?
No, ma'am. No, we already voted not to go into the executive session.
No.
You said no for Mr. Postel.
Right.
Ms. Hunt?
But we're not, we're still in discussion.
I'm sorry. Ms. Hunt?
No.
We still.
Conversation. Discussion. Any discussion on Mr. Postel? Any discussion on Mr. Postel?
No.
Mr. Franks?
Yes, I mean, that's just basically the same statement as Matt orchestrated. I am deeply, deeply sorry to going like I said, that I allowed my integrity to be jeopardized by unity. Kind of what Logan said. And I deeply apologize to the audience. I apologize to my constituents. But I can assure you, my integrity will not be jeopardized again.
Everyone?
That's all I have to say.
Mr. Kramer? Mr. Squire? Discussion?
No discussion.
Mr. Pudding?
So I made the motion. I truly believe that Mr. Postel, from a professional standpoint, in my opinion, is the best candidate for this position.
Mr. Wilson?
I am voting for this candidate simply because of the points.
Mr. Melton?
No comment.
Ms. Mayfield?
I cannot support Mr. Postel. I heard Mr. Pullen say that he felt like he would be a good PR person. We need an administrator that will be, to focus on our parish and not just a PR person. That's what we need. And if you're looking for a PR person, you need to look somewhere else, because this is not what this parish is about. It's to have a PR person.
Ms. Crawford? No, nothing? Back to you, Mr. President.
Yeah, I'd like to clarify that from Ms. Sharon. A PR person, not in that aspect of somebody, and here's where the one quality that I think that we need as an administrator is that. But the reason for that is, with the tax dollars that we have in our parish, that our citizens pay, that is an operating, but in my opinion, for operation of our parish. The reason I want a PR person is because that administrator would be critical in talking to people in Baton Rouge, critical talking to people in Washington, D.C., for trying to get grant money and put Lincoln Parish forward to get that grant money coming in so we can improve our parish. And that right there, that's the reason, and that's the reason I want a PR. That was a quality and a trait of someone I wanted. And because the job of the administrator going forward is not only going to be to do his daily activities, but I would like him being on the forefront of getting those federal monies, getting on the state monies. There's a reason that there's communities like within Louisiana Tech, that partnerships that are formed the parish is not a part of that. And there's a reason for that, because we've always, this is ours, this is what we're going to do. I want to branch out from that, and that's why I think that there's a trait in that person that I think that we need. And that's where I want to be over.
Mr.
Go ahead.
Mr. Hunt.
I'd just like to say, we've got over 150 employees, over a $17 million budget. And I think we need somebody with significant experience in managing large budgets and large amounts of employees to do just that. And that's what Mr. Postel.
Did I see your hand again? And then back to you.
Yeah, when you said that you needed somebody to go in, we have spokesmen, a spokesman for the state level that goes in and pitches for all of us within the parish. We have a spokesman that goes to the legislature in Washington, D.C., and at Baton Rouge. So we need an administrator to run this parish, and not a spokesman to go to Baton Rouge, because that's what we have.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get our money. But it's not from just him going to being a spokesman. You're looking at it as a spokesman, and I'm not looking at that. I'm looking for somebody that's gonna run the parish.
Man, I saw Ms. White, I saw that hand again.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. The president goes to Washington and lobbies for money for us, not the administrator. And this is what I'm basing my discussion on. You all are saying that you need somebody with experience, somebody to manage. Why can't y'all give us the same respect? We've gone through 3 different administrators. So why are we not better able to make a decision than you are about what is needed in an administrator? What's the difference?
Ms. White, I'd rather not, I don't like to hear we and us. Listen, we and us.
That's the way we voted.
I know, Ms. White, but we don't need to hear those words permeating in our ears.
But that's the way we voted.
I understand. Have we finished discussion? Yes. All right. We ready to vote, Council?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Hall?
White?
Ms. Hall? Everybody understand that Mr. Postel, up or down? Okay. Mr. White, I'll do it again. With
Okay,
Mr.
Ms. White,
No.
Ms. Hunter,
No.
Mr. Franks,
Yes.
Mr. Cranford,
Yes.
Mr. Hunt,
Yes.
Mr. Scriver,
Yes.
Mr. Pullen,
Yes.
Mr. Russell,
Yes.
Mr. Henderson,
Yes.
Mr. Melton. No. Mrs. Mayfield,
No.
Mrs. Strawder.
Yes.
You have 8 yeas, 4 nays.
Thank you all. Mr. Counselor, where we go from here?
Item 6,
Thank you.
or 7.
Item number 7, Mr. Postel been appointed Lincoln Parish Police Jury Administrator. Thank you all. Item 7, Lincoln Parish Sales and Use Tax Commission 20.
He said something.
Who?
We need to appoint.
We got to appoint Kevin.
Okay. That's where we're at, Courtney?
Yes, because I'm no longer the administrator.
Jerry, will you come please? Just like that.
Just like that.
Courtney, will you come forward, please? I'd like all the jurors to stand.
I should have told you I had to suit. Yeah, you caught me by surprise.
After we had looked at everything, we knew after tonight, Courtney had no way forward with the Lincoln Parish Police Jury. After 35 years, it behooves us to present you with this. It is my 20-something, your 35. We won't go into all of that. But we thank you for what you've done for the Lincoln Parish Police Jury. Other comments when we get ready to present this? Mr. Russell?
We could, 13 years for me, we could not have done what we have done without him. His leadership, his long hours, hard work, and what he's done for this parish.
And I'd like to say,
People of the parish,
I'd like to say that Ms. Courtney worked with me my 2 years as president,
Yeah.
and I take my hat off to you, Courtney.
Courtney, you've always been approachable, agreeable, and always willing to go the extra mile to explain it, make it work, to take care of all the citizens of this parish, not just in one district. And Mr. Postel has some very large shoes to fill. We're going to miss you greatly. I'm going to miss you immensely, and I wish you the best of luck in all your endeavors.
Anyone else?
Courtney, it has been amazing to work with you the last 12 years, and I'm really deep emotional because I can remember when I had my sickness, that you were there to support me in the healing process. And it meant a whole lot to know that you were there checking on me. And it means a lot to know that you have an administrator that cares about the well-being of one of the jurors when they are going through situations. And I'm going to miss you. I hope you Godspeed. And I just really appreciate you.
Can we give him a hand clap, please? It said Lincoln Parish Police Jury, Russell, Louisiana, presented to E. Courtney Hall. What's the E for?
Eugene.
Eugene. And appreciation for your service and dedication for the past 35 years
Give them this the 9th day of June 2020, and we thank our office staff for getting this done, and thank you all so much, and we want to present this to you, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Because I'm not a big speech maker. You know, I'm so humbled tonight by, you know, this warmth of these kind words. You know, I feel like that I have done the best job that I can, that I was put here. First of all, I'd like to thank my Creator and Sustainer, God Almighty, because He directs my paths. And, you know, 35 years ago, I would have never dreamed that I would be in this position. Never. But thanks to Him, thanks to His love, and thanks to prayers, it's worked out for me. I also want to say that, you know, I follow in some large footsteps. You know, this trail was blazed a long time ago. A few of us were talking earlier. You know, there's been 5 administrators in the last 99 years in Lincoln Parish. You had Eddie Evans, started it off. Then you had Reagan Sutton, he worked 30 plus years. Then you had Richard, who was here for what, 15 years or more? 17 years. Then you had Dennis for 3, and me for almost 11. Well, that comes up to 99 years, okay? And so I am extremely humbled to have been a part of that process and that journey. And I can't thank you enough for your support. As you know, we've gone through some tough times and we've gone through some good times. And I'm so grateful to y'all for your trust in me, okay? That just touches me deeply, and it really, I'm just so grateful. To my department heads, I want to say thank you, because you guys are the ones that make me look good, okay? You know, you're the ones that are out there, boots on the ground, you know, interacting with the public, you know, passing on information to me. And, you know, I couldn't stand here today if it weren't for you guys and the hard work that you do. And so I really, really thank you all. My office staff, we had a little lunch today. Thank you so much for that. I call them my second family because that's what they are. And I'm going to miss them. I'm going to miss, you know, what I do. I've been doing it, you know, over half my life. And I'm just very humbled and very thankful and grateful.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we appoint Kevin as interim administrator.
Second. Motion by Ms. Crowder, second by Mr. Sparks. That we make.
You're taking up a matter that's not on the agenda, Mr. President.
Okay.
Motion to amend the agenda.
Council, where do we go? Where do we go from here, Council?
If you want to take up that motion, somebody's going to have to move to amend the agenda, and it's going to have to be a
Yes, Robert.
unanimous vote.
I make a motion to move the agenda to appoint Kevin as the interim administrator.
Second that motion.
A motion and a second that we amend the agenda to be item number 7. And all the other ones that have passed will go down numerically accordingly. We need to take a roll call.
Can I just ask for clarification? You just voted to appoint somebody as administrator.
Interim.
Yeah, you just appointed an administrator, though.
No.
Yeah. What he said is that we appointed an administrator. We don't know a start date.
Kind of protest, to get him through tonight. I mean, I'm not the official goalkeeper anymore. I understand, but can we specify how
Yes.
long this interim period lasts?
Just for tonight.
Tonight's meeting.
Correct?
To the end of the year.
That's your motion, Ms. Crawford.
Yes, it is.
That's the second.
Second.
To get through the night for Kevin the guy.
Okay.
We did a roll call.
Yes, sir.
Why? What are we doing? We're amending the agenda to appoint me as interim administrator for tonight, so I can run the meeting.
I vote yes.
Thank you. Hunter,
Yes.
Franks,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Scriber,
Yes.
Pullen,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Henderson,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Mayfield,
Yes.
Strawberry.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Unanimous? All right.
And now we have to do the vote forward.
So,
So we amend the agenda.
Now you need a motion to appoint him as the interim administrator for the rest
I
of
make
this
the
meeting.
motion to appoint Kevin interim administrator for tonight.
Mr. Sprite.
Second.
Motion is second, that we make Kevin, interim, administrator for tonight only. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Item number 8, Lincoln Parish Sales and Use Tax Commission, 2020-2021 proposed budget. Mr. Neese, Grisby.
Ms.
Good evening, everyone. If you can't hear me, just raise your hand. But tonight I'm here to present to you all the police jury's estimated portion of the Sales and Use Tax Commission's 2020-2021 budget. The estimated percentage of my overall budget is 14.35%, which is down a little over 3.5% from last year, largely due, in fact, or largely due in part to the software purchase that we had in last year's budget. That represents a decrease in the estimated portion of a little over $10,000 for a total of just over almost $29,000 estimated portion of the police jury's budget. Again, it's just a chance for you guys to ask any questions. This budget has been approved by the commission at our May 19th regularly scheduled meeting.
Any questions for her 2021 proposed budget? Can we need a motion on this? A motion on it? We don't have any numbers, but just the proposed budget.
I don't believe that we're taking any motions at this time. I think it's just, we're not taking any action.
On the hard budget, yes,
Sorry, we approved the motion, sorry.
We do need a motion to approve the proposed sales tax commission budget for 2021. I heard a motion. Mr. Franks, a motion. Excuse me.
Second,
Motion is second.
and I've seen that proposed
Yes.
budget. And it,
Yes, sir. Lincoln Parish Sales and Use Tax Commission proposed 2020-21 budget. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Item 9, resolution opposing all proposed legislation transferring administration and collection of local sales tax to the Louisiana Department of Revenue. Kevin, help us, we fight this battle every year.
Mr. President, I serve on that commission along with Annette. The state of Louisiana is requesting that they handle all of our collections.
Yes.
We handle our own collections, and we do it for about 0.5%. They want to charge 3%, and they want to hold our money for a certain length of time before we get it.
Right.
If we went forward and supported their desire, it would cost us a great deal of money. In the entire state, 64 parishes, we have the best system, the best people running the best collections that any parish anywhere has. We even help with Union Parish. I'd like to make a motion that we oppose the state collecting our sales tax.
A motion and second that Lincoln Parish Police Jury oppose the resolution proposed in the legislature by collecting the sales tax in Baton Rouge. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Kevin, give us a rundown on item number 10, official journal.
Item number 9, official journal, it's, we only have one selection. There's the rest of the year. It was in your packet. We really only have one selection.
Choice.
All right, that was item number 10. Can we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
The motion is to pick Russell Day Leader as our official journal for this coming year. Are we ready to vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Item number 11, consider and take action if necessary. Renewal of courthouse security agreement with the Lincoln Parish Sheriff's Office. Kevin.
This is a renewal. It was supposed to expire at the end of this month. There were a few corrections, as you saw in your packet. It's just basically language changes. It's just to renew the agreement with the sheriff, since there is a new sheriff coming in. Does anybody have any questions on it?
Once we approve this, the new sheriff will go along with it. I mean, that's a new,
Correct. We met with basically the lieutenant that's at the courthouse security, and these are the proposed changes from the sheriff's office. It is the same price, it's just a few minor verbiage changes, because it was a lot about, last year was about startup and machine, teaching and et cetera. So we're just changing a few verbiage to update the contract.
okay. Does everyone understand what we're saying? Need a motion and a second that we'll renew the contract with Lincoln Parish Sheriff's Office for courthouse security.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Schreiber, a second by Ms. Hunter, that we'll enter into contract, renew the contract with the Lincoln Parish Sheriff's Office for security here at the Lincoln Parish courthouse. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Item number 12, announcement of public meeting to consider adoption of a resolution ordering and calling an election to authorize renewal of Avalon tax library. Kevin.
This is the same thing we did a few months ago. We had pushed back the calling for the election, so we need to redo this the month before. We plan on calling the election next month. I just need to read this announcement out loud so it's on public record.
Okay.
Notice is hereby given that at this meeting to be held on Tuesday, July 14th, 2020 at 7 p.m. at the Library Event Center, 910 North Trenton Street, Weston, Louisiana, the Police Jury of the Parish of Lincoln, State of Louisiana, plans to consider adopting a resolution ordering and calling an election to be held within the Parish of Lincoln to authorize the renewal of an ad valorem tax. And
All right. So we need to have a public notice, right?
correct, we will do a public notice this week.
Okay. How many days out did you go?
I think it's 10 days, so we
10
have
days?
plenty of time.
Correct.
Okay. And we'll have that public hearing at our next jury meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Question,
Mr. Russell,
when will that election be held?
November.
December 5th.
So December.
December 5th?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Well,
December 5th. We don't need any action, we made the announcement, we're not going to.
Correct.
All right. Item 13, announcement of upcoming board and commission vacancies. Kevin.
We're announcing the vacancies for Northeast Delta Human Service Authority. On the board, I believe it is a 3-year term for the period April 1st through 2020 through March 31st, 2023. We have to announce it before we can appoint somebody, which we'll do next meeting. Again, the B is Greater World One's Waterworks District. Again, we have another nominee. That term is another 2 to 3 year term, and we'll do the,
At the next meeting, they'll come before us.
sorry, the personnel meeting. The
Personnel.
personnel will have to approve it,
Okay.
and then after that, you'll appoint. So you'll have, sorry, the personnel committee will meet next month to approve the nomination.
Correct.
Once y'all nominate, then
We'll
the
vote.
next month you'll approve.
Thank you. All right, so no action is needed on item 13.
Correct.
Item 14, authorize advertise for bids. A, asphalt, B, hot mix. Kevin?
We just need authorization to put out the bids for these annual contracts for asphalt materials and hot mix.
Do we need to take them one by one or individually? One by one.
Let's do one by one, please.
I need a motion second to advertise for bid for asphalt material.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Scott, second by Mr. Pulley, that we approve, authorize advertise for bid for asphalt material. We ready to vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Item B, authorize advertise for bid for hot mix. Motion and second.
So moved.
A motion and a second, I believe with Mr. Melton with the second, Ms. Scott with the motion, that we approve advertising for bids for hot mix. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item 15, authorize audit extension request to Louisiana Legislative Auditor. Kevin.
Our treasurer, Mr. Christopher Hyde, is actually going to speak on this one.
I am.
The legislative auditor will allow an emergency extension to our audit deadlines due June 30th. Allow an emergency extension for any gubernatorial declared disaster or emergency. And just given the turnover at the treasurer position less than 3 months ago, COVID-19, all the other factors kind of go without explaining that wouldn't hurt to have a little more time to get it right, and get it done by the deadline that they'll be glad to extend for us. It keeps us from having to have another meeting, or special meeting in June. And I don't see any reason that we can't finish up the field work, have a report done, and have it on the agenda for the regular July meeting.
How long would the extension be for?
Well, the extension's for up to 90 days.
Okay. All right, so we need a motion to authorize an audit extension request to the Louisiana Legislative Auditor to give us more time with new personnel and so forth, to make sure we got everything right for our annual audit. Everyone understand the request for the audit extension? We need a motion and a second to do so.
So,
A motion, by Mr. Hunt, second by Ms. Rawley, that we authorize requesting an extension for our audit to Louisiana Legislative Auditor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Item 16, Ms. Hyde.
Yes, sir. Sent the treasurer's report out in a format this month. Posted a bunch of numbers on a bunch of pieces of paper.
Mr. President,
Excuse me.
some of us are older. Would you speak louder?
Yes, sir, I'll be glad to.
I can't hear you.
I sent the treasurer's report this month in a narrative format. I thought it might have helped to consolidate some of the information, make it a little more concise and easier to understand. So we'll just go through this line by line. I'll be glad to answer any questions again. Start with the general fund. It has a deficit at the end of May of just over $90,000. My best projection for the deficit at the end of the year is just over $190,000, which is 150% or so of the $127,000 deficit that we budgeted. So my motive kind of in those calculations was just help us all understand where we thought we were going to be and what that looks like now. So the difference between those two is only a little over $62,000. In terms of total revenue, 58% of the way through the year, the general funds earned or recognized about 41% of the revenue that was budgeted, so we're not far off the mark there. Severance tax is still a monster. We got just under $40,000 in May for April severance tax. I use production data to attempt to forecast what our next month's elections will be. This early in the month, that data is not available. Usually our meetings are a little later in the month. And our general funds expenses year to date are just over $930,000, which is right on pace with the portion of the year that has come and gone. Moving to the solid waste disposal fund. Revenue from sales tax was down just under 14% from the same month last year. Down just over $100,000 from the prior month this year, which is a little less than 20%, right at 18%. What I like to look at instead of a month-to-month comparison is a rolling period of time, and I selected the first 4 months of the year, this year versus last year. The reduction this year is almost $200,000, which is a lot of money, but that's still less than 9% of the annual total. Of course, we all know that sales tax collections are down globally, but we collected enough to cover the cost of the landfill operation. We distributed the excess to the municipalities, or we will distribute the excess to the municipalities in the surplus or deficit at that time would be very near zero. Moving on to the Parks and Rec Fund, just like the sales tax collections are down, hotel motel tax is significantly less than what we budgeted and anticipated. We're looking at a shortfall there of just under $50,000. But our admissions are on pace to exceed our budget, and I would expect the pace to continue. But as it is now, on pace to exceed the budget by just under $80,000. So that fund's revenue year to date is 3% higher than its 42% we would have expected to collect this far this year. A little under $15,000 over what his prorated portion of the year would be. And then looking through the other funds, revenues and expenses, there weren't any significant value that had a variance or any deviation. There was materially different from what the 58% that we would expect to be remaining in the budget at the end of May. So I'll be glad to entertain any questions.
Any questions for Mr. I from anyone else? Thank you. So we can sleep at night and nothing to be afraid of.
That's right.
All right. Thank you. Item number 17, committee report. Item 8, health and welfare. Ms. Brown.
The Health and Welfare Committee met today at 5:30 p.m. Mr. Ronnie Dowling, the director of our health agency, discussed the Public Transportation Operating Assistance Program agreement, state project number RU 183121, and we were informed that they got over a little over $300,000 in that, and with the Louisiana Housing Workforce Commission Community Service Block Grant, got a little over $200,000 for 1 year on those, and we accepted both of those, and I'm asking that you accept this in the form of a motion.
A motion second that we accept health and welfare committee report. And we a motion second. Any discussion? Any questions? All in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. All opposed. Solid waste. Well, no, I need a resolution.
Yes, sir.
I need a resolution authorizing the president to execute operating system program agreement with Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development and further providing with respect thereof.
So moved.
Motion is second that we approve the resolution. Questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. The second resolution authorizing the health director to execute several grant agreement with Louisiana Workforce Commission and further providing with respect thereof.
So moved.
A motion is second that we approve the resolution. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Solid waste and recycling, Mr. Clancy.
Solid Waste Committee met at 6 p.m. this afternoon to discuss the dumpster issue. We didn't take any action, but we are reaching out, asking for any ideas, any thoughts, or come up with a few ourselves, different things we want to try to do to clean up the dumpsters. Then we discussed the air burner at the landfill where they've been burning all the debris, or it's been backed up for numerous months now. We discussed talking about maybe trying to get out of that contract because he's so far behind, he's breach of contract. We did discuss getting Mr. Lewis to send him a letter telling him that he is in breach of contract, and we also put into motion to try to start applying for our own DEQ permits, so if we do get out of contract, we ought to be ahead on getting the permit so we can run an operator ourselves. And that was all.
Make a motion to accept this report.
Second.
A motion is second that we accept solid waste and recycling committee report and act on the recommendation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Item 18, Kevin.
do not believe we have any travel, as far as reports. Oh, okay. The jurors usually put into a employee Christmas fund. And if you are not currently doing that, please see LaTanya. Some of the, we just need to get worked out the details so everybody is contributing their fair share. We use it for Christmas, but we also use it for like benevolence as well. So if you're not currently doing that, please see LaTanya at some point this week or next.
Mr. Russell.
I may be incorrect in thinking this, but isn't this our year to host the district meeting?
That was my next statement.
And isn't that budget somewhere in the neighborhood of $5,000?
I believe it's 2,000. There's like it's a kind of thing. Basically, right now we've called down there. We're not positive that we're hosting it this year because of the pandemic. They're going to decide in the next couple of weeks whether or not we're going to be able to host it. We'll get the budgets then. As far as if we don't host it this year, it'll be a Zoom meeting for the region, and then what will happen is we will need to host it next year.
All right.
So
Where do the funds come from for that occasion?
Each parish pays into the region a certain percentage each year, and then all that money comes to us to host it. So we're not sure if we're going to have that meeting this year. Or not. It might be a Zoom meeting, it might be here in Lincoln Parish. But we should find out hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
We'll know before the next meeting.
Yes, we should know before the next meeting. We were told by the end of this month that they should have a decision.
And normally, what date is that? How long?
It's usually in August, but they've been pushing everything back, so it still might be in August. I hope it's not.
So it gives us time to plan.
Yeah, if we know by the next meeting, it'll give us time to plan.
I was in September.
But his initial request was for the jurors that have not started contributing to the employee fund. We need to see LaTanya. Unless y'all didn't give all your money at one time, that's fine too. She'll take it whenever you get it. But if you give a little alone, you won't miss it, I guarantee you. But LaTanya's here if you need to see her for the reports. Kip.
Gave each of y'all a flyer. That's some testing that Oster's Health Systems is going to start here Thursday. They're going to be doing it right here in the Library Event Center. And the original plan was they were going to do it Thursday and Friday of this week and Monday through Thursday of next week. But the state altered those plans today because of some nursing homes that are wanting to get those tests moved into those nursing homes. So anyway, so that's just only 2 days they'll be doing that. So pass that on out to your constituents. And then the 2 previous weeks where we had the mobile test sites and all the municipalities around the parish, we had a total of 316 people that tested during that time.
What were the results of that?
They were notified if they were positive. They may have not been notified if they were negative.
Is there a cost?
Ma'am?
How much are the tests?
Gave all the flowers away.
Free.
Read on their back, that's the bottom.
Unless you've got health insurance, they'll charge you health insurance.
It says something about bringing an ID card in.
And insurance.
And it'll be from 9 till 4 each day here, Thursday and Friday.
The information is also on the library's, I think, website, our Facebook page, and we'll put it on the Homeland Security Facebook page as well.
Carrie,
Any questions?
any other reports? James, you good? Vivian?
No, Mr. Workforce, no,
Good.
nothing like that.
Dog? Thank you.
No report.
No report? Did I miss anyone? Yes, sir.
No report.
Yes, sir. I'm looking right at you.
Where's our sheet of paper?
Correspondence? None? All right, we have one public comment. Mr. Baldwin, will you please? His subject matter, he wanted to discuss replacing the dumpsters and also vicious dog issue. Mr. Baldwin.
First of all, I want to talk about the vicious dogs that we have around.
Speak up, you're about to.
Come on up so we can hear you.
Come on up a little bit more. I done got old too, brother. What it is that a lot of y'all know Nancy Wilson, eh? And you knew about the vicious attack that she was.
No.
Yes, the beginning of this year, she was attacked by a dog in her own yard. Mauled her arm, mauled her leg, and he was trying to get to her throat.
Yeah.
Okay. That happened on a Saturday. The police were called. There was no one that could get the dog.
Until Monday.
It was Monday came. No one came and got the dog. But the dog was at a neighbor's house. And the neighbor's daughter would come out previous times in the day. And the dog was up there smelling around. He called her and asked, could he do anything about it? She said, yeah, I can. Because anybody came and got it. Well, 2 weeks ago, on a Saturday, she was walking up 3rd Street. Here come 2 German Shepherds charging at her. To have been through an ordeal like she had gone through, that would mess up a lot of people's mind. So what it is that she wanted me to ask, it was about a plan B. I understand that the dog catcher works from Monday to Friday. But with the children that are in the neighborhood, what if one get attacked Saturday or Sunday? She wanted to know, is there a game plan that could be put together? So if something like that happened again, it'll be taken care of. She was told that, they told the man that if the dogs get loose again, that he would be ticketed and the dogs would be taken. As long as they was on the leash, well, guess what? This past weekend, they weren't on the leash. Right below where I stay. She broke back down, thought back on the past of what had already happened to her. So, she wanted me to address this to you finally, to see if there's something that can be done.
Do that come on health and welfare?
We have laws and ordinances that would cover this, whether the dog catcher's on duty or not. If it's out in the parish, they need to call the sheriff's office.
Even on weekend? The problem is, it said that the sheriff said he only worked Monday through Friday.
Well, the dog catcher may, but what he's discussing are crimes. Any deputy would have the right to enforce those.
Well, the thing about that,
They didn't show up.
they have the same thing that the dog catcher has. But they said that they are not allowed to put the dogs in the vehicle.
Then they beat her.
That's something either he or some of you may want to discuss with Stephen Williams. I mean, what he's discussing is a crime that's being committed. You don't enforce it just when the dog catcher's working.
Did it happen in the city or in the parish?
In the
Parish. It's our responsibility.
And the owner of the dog that attacked Ms. Wilson is being prosecuted, just so y'all know.
Yes, good. But it's these 2 shepherds that the owner's letting loose that's real vicious. Now, but we're gonna address it. We're gonna have a new sheriff in 21 days, but we're gonna address it like our council said. We have things in place, and it don't matter for this Monday through Friday. If it's on weekend, the deputy has the same authority, so we need to make that point and make sure they follow the ordinance. So we're gonna do that, please, sir. Mr. Ross?
I would suggest that the truck that they use with all the stuff be left at the sheriff's office, and a request to them to do that, and that an officer take that equipment and go take care of the problem.
Regardless of whether the record was out.
Yeah, it doesn't make any what day it is.
Okay, we can address that.
All right.
Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yes.
And then the dumpsters.
All right. You know, I've talked to y'all before about
bringing the dumpsters back to the previous part of water tank. Just so happened, Mr. Milton wasn't here. You know, the name didn't fit you. I've been knowing you a long time. But what it is, the people in District 10, your district, comes to me because I carry a petition around. You get signatures. You get those dumpsters replaced back to where they were. I know that there's a process that has to be gone through before removing, but there's also a thing going around in your district, talking to all of the people, not just some, all, to find out whether or not they like that site clear. Did anybody come to me? A lot of other people are beginning to come to me because going out water tank to hit Martin Luther is a daily routine. Now, they forget about the dumpsters are not there. Some of them be able to now recognize that the spot is clear. We have to turn to the right, go all the way down the road. Tennessee. All the way down the road. Now, take it that a lot of people, when they put their trash at the dumpster, they can go on to work. Now, there's a place where they got to go slap around, rushing to make them late for work, where they used to getting out at a certain time. Elderly people don't have ways to get it down there. They have to pay people to bring their garbage all the way up, and a lot of the guys that are doing it don't have vehicles. They old. I try to be a dumpster man. I take garbage off. But when it was down there where it was at, not only did the little patrol pick it up, I did too. I don't know why, Brother Melvin, you decide to do what you do. We all make mistakes in the beginning when we get into a new place. But please, like I said, that y'all put them back. Please.
Mr. Bauer, we're going to be, Mr. Cranford, would you meet with Mr. Melton and let's see about that situation, please? So someone will be getting with you, Mr. Bauer, the committee chair, and the juror for that district. They'll be getting with you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cranford. Thank you, Mr. Melton. Anything else before we adjourn? Anything else? We stand adjourned.